Hi, my name is Peter Howe. This is my wife, Amber Howe.
And how did this process begin for you guys?
Yeah, we were kind of at the point in our lives where we were wanting to purchase our first home. We checked out a bunch of different websites, Zillow, Realtor.com, to see what was in the market for pre-existing homes. And after about 2 months of maybe searching and not really finding exactly what we wanted, then we opened up to new construction, found the Watercrest neighborhood, and at that point, the location was just something that really appealed to us. And after researching a little bit more, it was within our price range, and at that point, we decided to go for it.
So you guys just started research online. You like the location of Watercrest, which is the main reason why you chose this area. And what about choosing different models just to get online, just to kind of explore what you think that your guys need best?
Yeah, we checked out all of the models. We looked at various buildings and saw that Fischer kind of had the design and the communities that we were interested in. So we went online and looked at all of the different models, and we thought that this one fit our price range, it fit our size, just us and 3 cats. And so we decided to go with this one.
Yeah, and after we settled on the neighborhood, that was kind of when we started to look at the actual floor plans. And we stumbled across the Delaney floor plan, which was exactly the right size. We liked the openness of the building. And then, at that point, that kind of got the ball rolling to reach out to you to see how we can proceed further along the process.
Mm-hmm. And what prompted you to reach out to me?
Yeah, I think it's a common misconception that you don't really need a realtor when you're going through the building process. But for us, we wanted an expert who had a lot of experience in the field and who can kind of guide us through the process. It's at no cost to you at all, especially on the buyer side. Some people think they can come in and maybe have a bill of reimburse you for the commissions, but that's just simply not true. A lot of the home prices already incorporate that. They assume you're going to bring a realtor. So because there's no charge, it makes no sense for us to leave that benefit on the table.
Yeah, we found you specifically because we were looking for a realtor who had experience with new construction. And we found your social media page, we found it very professional, you clearly like what you do, you had all sorts of videos, all the memes, and you had the one video with Heather where you were talking about the Fischer Homes building process, and we were like, that's the guy, he's done this before, he has an in with the industry, he's the one who's going to help us out with this.
Yeah, and even just during this process, having somebody advocating for you, and I know like at one point when we were making our selections, we were debating about whether or not to get a 12 by 12 concrete patio, and we asked you, hey, is it worth it to build this for this price? And you pulled out your phone and you did some quick math, and you're like, yeah, you're actually getting a pretty fair market value, to do that. So, having somebody who has that insight and that expertise and leveraging that to help make, more informed decisions as you're going along, it's been very useful.
So then we set up an initial meeting with Heather. How did that process go for you? What did you fill out in the first meeting? We were able to set up an opportunity, guys, for you to go look at a Delaney model. You guys drove out to Indianapolis to go and do that. How was that like?
We were really, really glad that we went and visited that market home because it's one thing to go online and see all these images and try to visualize yourself in the space, and it's another to actually physically walk through what's gonna basically be your future house and think, okay, well, this is how big the house feels, this is how open it feels with all of these windows that I might like to choose. Seeing all of the little options that they take and deciding whether you'd like to do something like that, it made it all feel a lot more concrete. I really think that helped us out a lot.
Yeah, I highly encourage anybody who's considering building to just reach out, sales counselor, realtor, just to get something set up. Because if you're walking through the same exact floor plan that you're planning on building, it basically gives you a preview of what's to come. You're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, you're about ready to commit to that transaction. You want to kind of know what you're getting. It also gives you the opportunity to just examine the workmanship, the craftsmanship, if there's any red flags that pop up. That was something we were doing as well when we went to the market home.
Yeah.
So after that initial meeting, you guys went and visited Delaney, you decided you wanted to move forward and put something under contract. What was kind of the next step, next process? You set up a meeting with the design center. What was that like?
Not nearly as overwhelming as we thought. We pictured ourselves like walking into this big old warehouse with like colors and samples all over the place, and it was way less overwhelming than that. Our sales counselor, Kristen, was awesome. She was very transparent. Sometimes we would go, hey, we kind of are thinking about that. And she'd go, they don't really need that. So, and it took us a lot less time than we thought. So it was a lot easier and a lot more fun than we imagined when we were going to walk into that center.
Yeah. To be honest, I was genuinely concerned before even building a home. Mostly because, as an example, we purchased our car at the beginning of the year last year, and after settling on the price, and our salesman came and showed us a piece of paper, it was about $2,000 higher than we expected. And looking at the line items, he just snuck in a $2,000 rust-proof insurance, and to me, it just struck me as odd, that car salesman stereotype still exists. And we were afraid coming into this experience, are there going to be high-pressure sales tactics? Are people going to pressure you to get upgrades? Is there going to be a lack of transparency, hidden fees? That's been the complete opposite of that. There's no pressure at all. Everybody's been very communicative. You never feel like you're out of the loop, and pricing is super transparent, and you're fully in control of making all the decisions.
Knowing where we're at now, it's for a couple months into the process. You haven't broken ground yet? Have they broken ground yet?
We're just about to break ground soon.
What advice would you give yourself if you were to start this process all over again, or what advice would you give someone who's in that exploratory phase?
Yeah, I would say if there is a community that you're interested in, make sure you get in as soon as you can. When we came into Watercrest, there was only 3 lots left. And at the beginning, there was almost a stigma behind new construction, like it's just going to be super overpriced, you're paying way too much. But after we ran our scenarios and what we were looking for, it was actually fairly comparable to the pre-existing homes that we were seeing. It's just unfortunate that it took us 2 months to really consider new construction as an option. So if you're interested, I would say when you're starting your home search, just don't rule out new construction right at the beginning. Just spend 30 minutes of your time, check out the price ranges, reach out to a realtor, speak to a sales counselor, and see if it might fit in your budget, it might actually fit the lifestyle you're looking for.
So one of the questions Heather had was, you're renting today, what kind of made you decide to invest in a home at this particular time?
Living with neighbors sucks.
Yeah.
You have to share your space. You have to, if somebody with a million kids has to do a million loads of laundry, it takes a million hours, you're just not doing laundry that day. Or if there's a bunch of noise in the stairways, you have to hear that. So we were kind of done with that. We wanted to have our own space, entirely our own. We just lived by ourselves, not to this close vicinity with everybody else. And we just kind of thought we were ready to take that step at this point.
Yeah. For me, it was more of an emotional attachment, kind of on an abstract level. I never grew attached to my apartment. I just felt like it's an expense to put a roof over my head, and every single month that money's gone. With a home, it's kind of like you grow attached to it. This is something that you've designed. You kind of, get that emotional kind of bonding through time. And it's almost like a forced savings, because every single time you're making this payment, you're working towards home ownership. And that was something that was very appealing to us.